Naji here. Let's continue our discussion on LangChain, and in this video we will be discussing on LangChain middleware. So first let's understand what is a middleware. Okay. So for that, first what we can do, we can just understand the high level architecture of a middleware. So for example, I have my agent core is there, right? So I want to have some kind of a middleware which will filter out, I can say, or which will filter out or which will manipulate some personal informations of a user. For example, their email ID, their SSN, their credit card. Okay, if user enters something like that, I want to block that. I don't want the agent knows about this information. And also similar to that, if the agent is getting some data from the database, and if it is contains some personal information like a SSN number or credit card number, I need to filter out those before it's sent back to the user. Okay, so a middleware is something that stands between the user and the agent. So it will actually kind of a gatekeeper, or we can say it is a guard, which will filter out any input to the agent, and also it will also filter out some information, some secret information that is coming from the agent. It will also filter out before it going to the user. So the middleware can be considered as a guard, which so there are different kinds of middlewares are available in LangChain. Okay, so there also we can add our own custom middlewares too. So in this video we will be discussing on, specifically we will be discussing on the PII detection middleware, PII middleware. Okay, so let's go back to our first screen. So I hope everybody clear about what is the middleware, and why we need the middleware. That is also it's very clear, right? It's a security and compliance, separation of concerns, and it will give some kind of a consistency, maintainability, and scalability. These are the few features of the middlewares. And the key advantages, as I mentioned, like one of the key advantages, like it's a security first, it is production ready, easy to configuration, and we can also we can bring some custom pattern also that I can discuss in my when we do the coding example. Then flexible strategies can be implemented, and the performance also, the minimum overhead can be applied to the programming logic. So these are the key advantages, and this will you will be getting like a clear understanding of this when we do a sample program. So if I explain it, it is actually a waste of time, because you may not get like what is meant by this without doing some practical examples. Okay, so this we already explained. Okay, so as I mentioned, we will be discussing in this video, we will be discussing on the PII middleware. In the coming videos we can discuss like a summary, and there are a lot of other middlewares too. So what this PII middleware does, okay, so it automatically detect and handle the personally identifiable informations in the conversation. For example, one of the PII informations that, as I mentioned, is an email ID or is a SSN number or something like that. Okay, so there are built-in detection types are there. The LangChains, by default they are providing email address detection, credit card number, and social security number, phone number, and the custom pattern. So we can even use like some custom patterns for the detection. And there are like a few strategies are there. One is the redact strategy, which is replaces with some placeholder, and we can do some kind of a mask here. For example, if this is my phone number, if I want to do some masking, it will do some kind of a star 1 2 3 4 something like that. I can do the hashing, and I can even block that. So if it is blocked, that it will throw an error. Okay, so these are the few features of the PII middleware. Now we can try to do some sample program. So for that, let me open my Visual Studio Code. Let's close this one and have this. Okay, so this is my Visual Studio Code. So what I have done, I have created a sample code, so we can understand what is in this code. So here we can see I am importing the create react agent, and from LangChain dot agent dot middleware we are importing the PII middleware, and I am importing the pandas. Okay, and these are the few patient records or patient information which contain patient ID and its name, its email ID, phone number, and some kind of a diagnosis also added here. Okay, so these are the random thing that I have created. Then I'm creating a data frame here. So this will be act as a database for us for this program. So instead of connecting to a relational databases or not relational database, I'm just using this data frame as our knowledge base. Okay. Now there are one method is there. So this what this does is by giving a email ID, it will return a data from the data frame. And I have created a tool. Okay, so we discussed about what is a tool in our last video. So this is my tool, LangChain tool. I am importing the tool, and this function is decorated as a tool. So this use of this find patient by email ID, and it will return the necessary information back. It will return in the patient MRN, email ID, phone number, return back to the agent. Now if you look on that, I am creating a Groq model, and here we can see GPT OSS 120 billion is the model that I am currently using. Okay, cool. So as of now we are good. Now what we can do, we can just create an agent now. Okay, for that let's do a agent. I can do a create react agent can be done here. So first let's add model, then I can add a tool. So we will have only one tool is there, that is the get patient info. Okay, so once that is done, okay, we can invoke this agent. Okay, so there is no middleware is added, and let me invoke this. Okay, so we can have a messages can be added here. I can have a role that is user, not the context, the content. Okay, the content. I'm going to ask show me, let's say show me patient info for, let me take one patient from here. Okay, so let's go back and find out one email ID. Maybe I will take Sarah H. So I can copy, I can paste it here. Okay, let's execute. We'll see the result. So here we can see the patient information of Sarah is mentioned as MRN number can be here, and email ID also I can see it here, right? So now I want to add a middleware so that I want to mask this email ID. Okay, so how can we do that? So for that, what we can do, we already imported the PII middleware, right? Now I can mention that here. Let's mention here middleware, create a list. Okay, I can have a PII middleware can be mentioned here. Now this is a custom one. This is the default one that I'm going to use. I can mention email, then I can make my strategy as mask. Okay, now apply to input. No, I don't apply to input is true. Okay, apply to output is, let me make it apply to input as a output is true, and I don't want to apply this input to false. Okay, so if I make input to true, like when it comes from the user also, like it will mask it. Look, okay, then our program will not work. Okay, so for this this is our middleware. So once we have our middleware, let me add a middleware here. I can mention a middleware, execute it. I forgot comma, let's add it, execute it, and execute it, and we'll see how this shows this time. Okay, here we can see MRN, and if you look on the email, we can see that Sarah.j, then they have masked its domain, right? So we can only see the first few parts can be seen here. Okay, so this is working fine. Now let's think about what happened if you do like redundant. Okay, execute it. This is the another strategy. I think strategy is wrong, I believe. Okay, so let me check this a second. We have mentioned the strategies here. Let me open my, go back here. Okay, redact. Okay, I think I misspelled this. Not redact is the name. Okay, so let's execute it. Here we can see, if I look on this, here we can see it is replaced with the redacted email. Okay, now let's do another thing. Let's do some kind of a hash here. Strategy can be changed. Let's do it, and we can see the result. See, it is hashed. Okay, the email ID is hashed. Now the last one is, I can do a block, right? So what happens if I do the block? So let's execute it. We can see, so if it is blocked, like it is actually throwing an error. Okay, so in this way we can do like multiple strategies. Okay, for the time being, let me take into the mask part. Okay, now let's think about if I want to do something on my phone number. Okay, for that what I can do, I can also add some kind of a middleware to hide the phone number. Okay, for that I will be using a regular expression to detect that. So let me do a comma, and here I can do PII middleware can be added here. Now let me add font. Font can be added here. Then I can do the detector. Here I need to give some kind of a regular expression. So I already have a regular expression ready. So let me take that and paste it here. Okay, so this is my regular expression. Okay, so this says about like 3 digit and a 4 digit. That is the US number format. Now the rest of things are same. Here I'll be say apply to. Let me have the comma. Then I can say apply to input is false. I don't want to apply this to the input, and apply to output true. Okay, so I think we are good now. Now we didn't apply the strategy. So strategy can be, I can make it the strategy. Strategy can be, I can make it as a mask. Okay, I'm looking into like there are some errors are there. No, okay, that was a spelling mistake. So that, let me execute it. Okay, so here we can see, if you look on the phone number, see the phone number is masked, right? Currently now it is showing only the last 4 digit number is showing. Okay, so in this way I can do the customization. I can create like any middleware. I can take anything and I can do some kind of a masking can be done here. And there is another one more option is there, so I will show you that. I can write a custom function. For example, let me take a custom function. Okay, so here I created a custom function. Let me copy and paste it here. Okay, so this is a, instead of giving directly here, okay, I am just using a function. I am using a, let me hide it. Okay, I am using a function, a custom function I am using, and this is doing some regular expression, and it is checking it is matched or not. Okay, now let me paste it here. Okay, so this is simply I'm just doing that, like how can we add a function. So that's why I'm showing this example. So instead of directly giving this regular expression, I'm giving like pattern here. I am doing some kind of a match using the regular expression. I am returning the data. Now let execute it. Okay, we can see that here also. Here we can see that it is applying properly. Now maybe I can do, instead of hash I can do instead of mask I can apply the hash. Let's understand. Let's see how this works. Okay, so we can see that phone number is hashed. Okay, so this is very useful. This actually gives us a good control of the input and the output response from the agent. Okay, so I hope this is clear. I will upload this into the my GitHub repo. You guys can download and try it out. So that is all about in this video. Please do like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye.